Welcome, or should I say, welcome back. It's been a few years since we did this, but man, I can't wait to hear about the update and what's going on in your world. How are you?
Well, I'm fantastic. We're undergoing a lot of initiatives. We're doing more than one thing. It may be affecting me negatively, but I'd rather create impact, and do more than just one thing. So, you know what? We're doing an interview today. That's one of the many things we're doing, and we're excited about everything that's going on. And for any real estate agent who's watching you, the more human we can become and the more we can become more vulnerable through social media,
Yeah.
I believe that creates the bonds that get referrals and make transactions happen.
But that point that you just made is significant. And so I want to talk to realtors, like I want to lean in, like if you're a realtor and your last social media post was about your new listing.
Yeah.
It's okay, but think of it this way. What if you had like a bunch of listing flyers, right? And I invited you to a party, holidays are coming up, and you walked in with all these listing flyers, and to all my family and friends, you're giving them all flyers on the newest listing. Like, that's what you're doing. Stop it.
It's crazy.
Stop
Right.
it. Be excited, but weave in you. Weave in your life, your passion, the things that you care about. I would encourage you to avoid politics and probably baseball this week. But other than that, yeah, man, just, break it down and be real. But look, Glenn, I want to make sure that people hear from you. So when I think of you, you have forever branded in my mind attitude. And you are that guy, that attitude is a choice, and you've got a university around it. You teach this subject. I want to make sure we talk about that, but I want them to hear a little bit about your production. So just tell us a little bit about your team, your volume. Give people a rough idea of where it is that you do what you do and how much of it you do.
So, I've been doing this for 30 years. I got into this business at 19, bought a company at 23, grew it from a $600,000 enterprise to over 10 million in revenue. Wow. Sold it at 37. And for the past 10 years, I've been creating content with my Source of Sales program, America's #1 how-to real estate sales program, and doing the attitude thing. And so with those two benchmarks, I have still continued to produce, because you know what? Selling real estate is the easiest thing in the world. And in my opinion, it's the most profitable thing. I've developed, I've built, I've rented, I've done everything in real estate.
Yep.
The single most profitable activity in real estate with zero risk is called real estate brokerage. So I love brokerage. I love realtors. I got anywhere between 4 and 6 people that join my team. Do people leave my team? Yes. Why? Because they become wildly successful. And if I can pour into others and make them superstars, that's what I'm here for.
So
I don't
cool.
really care. It's the legacy, right?
So cool, for sure.
So, we roughly do, 130 homes a year. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less. When the market crashed in 2008, we actually did 236 sales.
Wow.
So that was like my biggest time, and that's, when it really all came together. I have a speech and a keynote called "I Hope It Gets Worse." The 10 reasons why you hope the market crashes.
I love that, man. Yep.
All boats are rising, but we can't wait for rates to get higher, and we can't wait to weed out the people that don't know how to sell.
Totally.
So the bottom line is, that's what we do. Our volume isn't what some of the other superstars are, but I can promise you our profitability and revenue far exceeds those who sell 10 to 12 million more than me.
Yep.
So we like to do things right. We like to brag about it, and we like to give full service. And one of the things I'm passionate about is giving real estate agents the ability to understand what value is, how to communicate value, how to charge value, how to charge more than anybody in the marketplace. So I love real estate agents. I think they're the most unique, fabulous people in the world, and they should get paid like they are. So that's what we do. I run my team, but as you know, I also speak nationally about high performance, and usually that leads back to attitude. So Some people, I don't like to say that I'm a part-time realtor, but I'm a part-time realtor maybe and a part-time
Yeah,
speaker, but I try not to, if I'm on the road, I'm 100% speaker, but if I'm not on the road, I'm banging deals.
sure.
And the depth of distance is amazing, and I can handle listings and offers anywhere in the country. And again, that's why we are in the greatest business in the world, and I love it. And so that's what we do. And our goal is to do, I don't know, 150 to 200 homes a
It's
year is
great.
kind of where we're at.
It's great.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for describing all of that. I think it's a cool thing for people to hear. You mentioned Keller before. For people that have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they'll remember that triangle, right? In the 7 levels that he talks about, and he kind of alludes to the the $1 million a year, you're out of the business, you got ancillary businesses. I mean, dude, you've done your own version of that. Let's address that mega production, mega volume versus, the more comfortable, more profitable version head on. As long as I've been in this business, there have been overweight real estate executives handing plaques and trophies to realtors on stage because we acknowledge the top volume number, right?
Right.
Which works for
Right.
them. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. My question is, where have you landed philosophically about your business? Because you said we're pretty passionate about the fact that, 100, 150 homes a year, but we're more profitable. I want you to speak to that. I think there's something to that sort of streamlined operation that you seem to have.
Right. So, we cut the fat from a lot of our referral sources. We believe that it's not about breadth, it's about depth.
Yeah.
And we focus on the deeper meaning of the people that refer us business. We are profitable because we give value first. We give value not only to potential buyers and sellers, we give value to real estate agents, right, in our marketplace.
For sure.
So what that allows us to do is it gives us influence with other realtors. It allows us to, transactions dying, we can step in and make it work because of our relationships with these other agents.
Nice.
Right?
Yep.
Instead of me going and undercutting and bashing other realtors, I'm lifting them up. I'm showing them how to charge more through my education and what I teach. Ultimately, if there's a multiple offer situation and a deal comes in from one of my agents, we tend to get a second look. Because you know what? They like us. So that's what we do. Could I sell 300-400 homes a year? Sure. I owned a brokerage. We did 2,000. There's more to life than selling homes. I try to really help people with the fulfillment edge and try to help them understand why am I doing this? The big why. Everybody talks about the why. Your why will find you. I don't know that you have to identify it. So we're out having fun, changing lives, helping people, but we charge for it, believe in full fees. And people are either doing business with you because of you, or they're doing business with you because of your price.
Absolutely.
I don't want people doing business with me just because of my number. That's not a way to build a sustainable, profitable business.
Totally.
So,
you and I have both seen, these market fluctuations, and it's so interesting to see what happens. I talk about that very real question. I don't know if you remember, Glenn, but I posted on Facebook, I don't know, a couple of months ago. It was like, how do you answer the question, your price is too high? I don't know if you saw that go by, but it blew up, like tons of comments around it. And what I started to hear was a couple of things. One was one group of people was like, well, if that's the issue, then I try and figure out, what we can do. And so they sort of cave. There's another group that boldly, just like you would, I think, stepped into it and said, it's what we do. This is what we're worth. And it doesn't work for everybody, right? And then my grandson, my 21-year-old grandson said to some of these formulaic, like scripted responses, he said, 21, he knows nothing about selling. He said, those things sound like word salad to me. And I just thought, okay, that's genius, right? From the mouth of babes or young men in this case, like word salad can't be good. So how do you coach your people on your team, when that issue comes up and you're asking for 7%, 6% or whatever, because we know they're negotiable, obviously, but whatever your fee is, when that comes up and the seller pushes back, or the buyer on a buyer's contract pushes back, how do you train your people to deal with that objection?
part of our source of sales program, I created 21 ways to defeat the commission objection. And number one is mindset, right? How long does it take for you to overcome the commission objection? In a listing presentation, let's be honest, right? And so let's say it's a $300,000 listing. We're talking about 1%. Mm-hmm. That's $3,000 that's on the table.
Yep.
So real estate agents need to understand, to have a mindset that most commission objections take a minute,
yep,
maybe 2. And so what I help our people understand is, when else are you going to be able to make $3,000 in 1 minute?
That's so good, man. Yep.
So that's the first thing. So when people say your price is too high or it's too much, don't go to the bathroom on yourself. Right. And the biggest issue with fee negotiation isn't with the other party, it's with ourselves.
Totally. So
the one thing, when I do my source of sales training, it's based on 5 pillars of success. And the first pillar that we do, it's a 2-hour session on personal mastery, right? If I can't influence myself, I can't influence others. So Number 1, it's mindset. Number 2, I have 21 different comebacks. So I always tell people, who's more uncomfortable asking you to cut your fee? Like if you walked into a doctor, a butcher, I don't care who.
Sure.
When I go in, some people get off and they love the idea of raking people over the coals with fees, but most people don't.
For sure.
So if we understand, number 1, I'm comfortable. If we understand, number 2, that the person asking me to discount is uncomfortable, and I have 21 ways to come back at them, I tell them, if you got a guy that is going to handle your objection back 21 times, number 1, we don't want the listing. We don't want them as a customer anyway.
Sure. For sure.
And number 2, I had a guy tell me this about marriage, which is kind of funny. The way it starts is the way it ends. And I think, you know what? If you're cutting fees, that's isn't going to respect you. And if you think that's the only time they're going to dictate the transaction, then you're crazy.
Doors wide open then. Yep.
Doors wide open. And then you bring him an offer, and then all of a sudden, he wants to counterpossess. Look, if you want to do business with myself and my team, then you need to listen to us and let us take the lead.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, then we're the wrong people for you.
For sure.
And that gets into pillar number 2, called prospecting, right? Mm-hmm. And I always ask real estate agents, how many of you know how to be a successful real estate agent? And they all raise their hands. Oh, I do. And then I go, so why aren't you doing it? Right? See, we all know what we need to do to become successful, but for some reason, 90% of us don't do it. So understanding why we don't do what we know what we should do, that's the essence of what I do and what I teach and what we do.
It's why you have a training facility and training curriculum, and it's why I'm a coach. It's right. It's like you're right. It's not about a lack of information.
Secret to success is what? There is no secret.
Totally,
that's the secret.
Totally.
So
totally.
Yeah.
So different question for you, but we have seen an interesting evolution to this concept of online leads, right? Online leads. Talk to me a little bit about online leads.
So, you know what? Online leads are great, but as you said, they're people. And so, again, this gets into, and I do this when I train our real estate agents. When the phone rings, you got to check yourself mentally, right? But you need to, and this is where attitude comes in, which is the way I dedicate myself to the way I think. Let's be honest. When the phone rings, real estate agents are not 100% of the time ready to field the call mentally with the proper attitude. If they had just gotten in a fight with their spouse, or if McDonald's had them sit in line too much, or if they don't have a pen, online leads are great. They're like any other lead. And as long as they're free, I'm all for it.
Yep.
I tell people the greatest thing about social media is it's free. Buy owners and expires. I mean, the traditional way, when I look in our marketplace in Indianapolis, the biggest agents in the marketplace are the old timers with the biggest book of business that you've ever seen, and they're the true pro. You you may get an anomaly, but
Yeah.
if you go from market to market and say, let's talk to the top 50 realtors, which I just did. We were ranked as one of the top 50 realtors in central Indiana.
Cool.
And you know what? Same people, been there forever. They don't have Facebook pages. They don't even follow up, right? But they're just so amazing with the people they have. And they don't take they go, Zillow lead, I'm not taking that. I got enough business.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are paying for leads, I get it. It's a shift. But you know what? It hadn't hit Indiana yet.
Yeah, cool. That's good to hear, man. It's good to hear.
You know?
So speaking of Indiana, you before we started recording, you mentioned something interesting that I'd really love for people to hear. You were telling me about the weather. So tell me a little bit about the weather today and then what that led you to observe about business.
Sure. So, and I've seen you hit my post a few times, but it's like, the early bird always gets the worm.
Yep.
And, it doesn't get light here till 8:30. And it gets dark at about 5:30, and people just check out. And if it's cold, people stop working.
Yep.
The best time to show buyers is when it's freezing cold, because then they'll write a deal, right? I use it to my advantage.
Love that.
And there's no competition.
Yep.
So the best time to call your for sale by owners, your garage sale people, whatever, do it when the weather's bad. You know what?
Sure.
They always invite you in.
I love that.
I mean,
man.
seriously.
I
Don't
love that.
stand out in the bad weather. Yeah,
Exactly.
Great. So
last question for you. What do you look for when you partner with a mortgage lender?
I would probably do business with the LO that I love the most.
Sure.
Who loves me,
great, man.
who understands. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. It's the same kind of relationship. Who do you want to hang out with, spend time with, turn your clients over to, right? Feel good about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no, and so, as horrible as that is to say, ultimately, as I look back over 30 years and the lenders that I've done business with, yes, they've been incredibly great, right? They've always delivered for me. But ultimately, it was the guy that I liked the most,
For sure.
or the girl that I liked the most. And so we have a program called Purchase Mentality, where I go into mortgage companies and I coach them on how to get inside the heart and mind of a real estate agent.
So good.
And it's not that tough. And we break agents down into 4 different levels. And by understanding emotional intelligence, which I touch on in the book,
nice.
We've created what I call target, approach, engage, and close the realtor. So it's a 4-step process.
Nice.
And you know what, the LOs that are working with me, they're crushing it with that formula.
So cool.
And the bottom line is you got to love your business, you got to love your customer, and you'll be rich. And get the dollar signs out of your eyes. And as you saw on that form, Bill, that we didn't really hit on, being involved. I coached football for 25 years, right, in Indianapolis.
Yep. And
so people have been calling me. They want to do business with me because I'm the attitude guy.
Totally.
Not because I'm the real estate guy.
I love that.
And so there's this thing called local celebrity that we also coach our realtors to work on.
So smart.
And people have no idea how attracted they are to celebrity. So what we try to help people do is crazy. And so our business has boomed because of the book and me going out. And again, they're like, we don't care that you sell real estate. We want to get more Glenn Bill. And so I encourage all the real estate agents that are out there to do that. And maybe if they follow me at the University of Attitude on my Facebook page, we have something called the Attitude Movement, which is a global movement. We're looking for people in states all across America for an opportunity to expose their business, to increase local celebrity, and it's all for free. All you got to do is just check me out, hit me on Facebook, and I will show you how to do it in your market, and you'll become a celebrity on April 18th, on Global Attitude Awareness Day, which I created.
That. My friend, thank you for making the time to be with us again today. I really appreciate it. I wish you nothing but continued success, and can't wait to see what you do next.